Hi everyone, welcome to another video by ESL Fluency. In this video, I'm going to explain how to answer true, false, not given, and also yes, no, not given questions in IELTS reading test. These are two different types of questions, but since they are really close in nature, I decided to discuss them both in this video. Most of the examples here are from IELTS past papers. Now, let's start with true, false, and not given. The questions are about facts in the passages. Does the question say the same thing as the passage, contradict it, or do we need more information to decide? Take a look at this example. This product causes the breakdown of excess body fat and will help people shed pounds. And here is the question. This product helps people lose weight by eliminating extra fat in the body. Well, both of them say the exact same thing. Basically, the product helps people lose weight by burning extra fat. That's all they say and nothing else. So the answer here is true. Don't worry, we are going to practice more examples once I'm done with the other two. False statements. False statements basically include words or phrases that convey an opposite or completely different meaning or message. In other words, contradicting information. Here is an example. The escalating costs of higher education is causing many to question the value of continuing education beyond high school. And the question says, the cost of a college education has remained steady for several years. As you can see, the passage basically says the costs are going up, but the question says they don't change, so they contradict each other. The answer here is false. Sometimes you need to pay attention to the adjectives or adverbs that describe nouns or verbs. For example, Australians believe that life should have a balance between work and leisure time. As a consequence, some students may be critical of others who they perceive as doing nothing but study. And the question says, students who study all the time receive positive comments from their colleagues. The passage says that they are critical of those who study all the time. But the question says they have positive comments towards the other group. Again, they say the opposite thing. So the answer here is false. Sometimes it is the restricting or limiting vocabulary items or quantifiers, like only, no, not, rarely, not all, everyone, a few, a third of, enough, lack of, and things like that. These will help you get the answer. For example, not everyone finds joy in city life. And the question says, no one likes living in a city. So the passage says some people like it, some don't. But the question says no one likes it. Again, false. Now let's talk about the one that's the trickiest. When the answer is not given, even though it is relevant to the topic discussed, more information is needed. In other words, it doesn't exactly say what the passage is saying, but it's not contradicting it either. For example, recently some people have become richer in both developed and developing countries because of the economic growth. And the question says, people are concerned that the economic problems may increase the gap between developed and developing countries. You might say, well, the passage only talks about people getting richer because of the changes in the economy, nothing about whether people seeing it as a good thing or a bad thing. So, the passage needs to continue talking about that so we see the answer clearly. But this part is missing from the passage. In other words, it's not given. Alright, now let's go through a few more examples and see if we have understood the difference. After seeing both the passage and question, before you hear my answer, pause the video and think about it. Then listen to my explanation. Example 1. We might disagree with the general, for we doubt if all musicians of genius could have become scientists of genius or vice versa. Question: a true genius has general powers capable of excellence in any area. Well, the passage says, some might say if you are considered a genius in a field like music, you can be genius in another like science. But some others might disagree, so the writer and other people might not agree on this. However, the question says a true genius can be great in any area, like it's a fact and not an opinion like the writer has put it. So they contradict each other. The answer is false. Example number 2. It's been scientifically proven that 3 people will be better than 1 at solving problems, even if that one person is the smartest person in the field. Question: teams work best when their members are of equally matched intelligence. The passage says it is better to solve problems as a group rather than individually, even if that individual is really smart. It says nothing about whether the members of the group should have similar intelligence levels or not. So that part is missing. The answer is not given. Example 3. The gray clouds were a warning of an approaching storm. Question: the coming storm was foretold by the dark clouds. Foretold means predict, and the passage also says the gray clouds gave us a clue of what is about to happen, basically the same thing. So the answer is true. Final example: tourism has a profound impact both on the world's economy and because of the educative effect of travel and the effects on employment on society itself. Tourism has a social impact because it promotes recreation. Well, both of them say tourism has an impact on society, but the passage says nothing about how. The question says it is through recreation. You might say, well, that's true in real life. Yes, but we only need to look at the passage and nothing else. And the passage doesn't talk about it, so it's not given. Now that we are clear about the difference between true, false, and not given, it'll be easier to answer yes, no, and not given questions. These questions are not about facts. They're about the writer's opinion. If both the statement and the writer agree on something, the answer is yes. For example, when the passage says, in the end, the fact remains that pharmaceutical companies have every right to make a profit and will continue to find new ways to increase sales. And the statement says, it is legitimate for drug companies to make money. You can say that the word legitimate and the phrase have the right to are the same thing. Those companies can make money. So yes, this statement agrees with the writer. When the answer is no, it means the writer disagrees with this statement. So basically, again, they say the opposite thing. Here's an example. Albert Einstein and Bill Gates are 2 more examples of people whose talents have blossomed by virtue of the times they were living in. Statement: Einstein and Gates would have achieved success in any era. Here the phrase by virtue of is the key word here. It means because of. So the passage says, these 2 people succeeded in their fields because of the situations of their times. It limits their success to the needs of their times. So, saying that their success doesn't have anything to do with their times is a contradiction. So, the writer doesn't agree with this statement. The answer is no. Last but not least, the answer is not given when we can't determine what the writer thinks about the opinion in the statement. In other words, some key information is missing from the passage. For example, the danger is that this Commercialization of our private world breeds cynicism and emotional attachment. Happiness is reduced to no more than having the latest mobile phone. Statement. The general public is becoming concerned about the increase in cynicism. Once again, as you can see, both of them talk about the increase in cynicism, which might trick you into choosing yes as the answer. But the writer doesn't really talk about whether people are concerned about this or not. So that piece of information is missing. The answer is not given. In other words, we don't know what the writer thinks is the case. Alright, let's go through a few more examples again. Don't forget to pause the video before you hear my answer. Example 1. As researchers on aging noted recently, no treatment on the market today has been proved to slow human aging, the buildup of molecular and cellular damage that increases vulnerability to infirmity as we grow older. Statement. Studies show drugs available today can delay the process of growing old. Well, the passage says there is no treatment, but the statement says otherwise, so it's a no. Example number 2. In fact, climate science needs professional help to rebuild its reputation. Statement. Climate scientists should take professional advice on regaining public confidence. Here's the answer. You have good reputation when people think highly of you and trust you. Same thing as public confidence. And both these sentences say climate scientists have to listen to the professionals. So the answer is yes. Example number 3. The classic networker is someone who is strong enough within themselves to connect different people, including close friends, with each other. Statement. The classic networker is physically strong and generally in good health. Here, as you can see, the passage is talking about strength in building connections between people. But whether physical strength is also needed for the job is not mentioned in the passage. So we don't know what the writer thinks about physical strength. The answer is not given. Example number 4. Although video games were first developed for adults, they are no longer exclusively reserved for the grown-ups in the home. In 2006, Rideout and Hamill reported that as many as 29% of preschool children between 2 and 6 years old, in the United States had played console video games and 18% had played handheld ones. Statement. Video game use among preschool children is higher in the US than in other countries. Well, the first sentence talks about both adults and children playing video games now, nothing about which group plays more. The second sentence talks only about the US and no mention of other countries. So we don't really know anything about other countries compared to the US. That piece of information is missing, so the answer is not given. That's it, everyone. I hope everything about these types of questions is clear now. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and don't forget to share this video with other people that are struggling with these types of questions. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to see our future videos discussing all parts of IELTS. See you in the next one.